Hey, thanks for joining me for another episode of Tea with Tasha. As you can see, if you've been watching these past few videos, this is where my heart is. I love the young people. I love to be able to just help them a little bit. Man, this is what you can see where this is where my heart is. So I want to get into this last little bit. I'm still on my first page of notes. But when I've been talking about invest in yourself, invest in yourself, invest in your education, invest in becoming a better person, invest in growing, learning, developing, maturing, because you want to be your best self. And don't allow people to treat you badly. Learn to speak up for yourself. Learn to speak up for yourself. Learn to speak up in a respectful way, but learn to speak up for yourself, because if you don't, you will have a life of being walked over, not treated well, being looked over. Learn to speak up for yourself. And ask your parents for help if you need some coaching, I would say, on how that looks. But one of the things that I wanted to say is, if you're young, be cautious about getting into long-term relationships when you're young, especially as a young woman and as a young man. But for the young women, be cautious, because there are only a very small number of people that are going to meet and stay together the distance, meeting in junior high, high school, middle school, however young. There are just a small number of people that are going to actually go the distance. And that happens because, especially as a young woman, you are going to grow and mature so much from 17 to 24. So much. Like, say you at a level 2, you're going to go from a 2 to a 9. So much and so quickly. You are going to evolve so much as a young woman if you're trying to learn and grow, but you're just going to mature. And you don't want to get caught in a position where you grow up and you outgrow the young man that you're interested in. You know, you don't want to get into a place where now you're trying to help him and coach him, and you going to school and he's still trying to figure it out. What you like at 19 might not be what you like at 22 and 23 and 25 and into your 30s. Like, you just gonna grow so much. You're gonna mature so much. And that's kind of the thing that kind of hurts us as women. We grow fast, but we'll peak out, and then if we continue to grow, it's going to be by choice. Men grow, but they just grow slower. So they are slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. Women are boom, 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 boom. I mean, we grow fast just because that's how we are. But we may peak out at a certain time. But if you choose a partner young, you don't even know what he's going to become. You don't even know if he's going to go the distance. You don't even know if he's going to be responsible. You know, if he's an athlete or something. You don't even know what happens if he get hurt. How does he, handle that? Like I say, if you're trying to choose a partner, one of the key things that you need to know and understand, how does he deal with difficult situations? Is he resilient? Can he bounce back? Can he bounce back from a failure? Can he bounce back from losing his job? Can he bounce back from not being able to play sports or getting hurt or whatever? Because if he just kind of goes into depression and can't pull himself out, then that's his level of maturity, and that may be who he is. He may not be able to pull himself out. He may not be able to. And for a young woman, for the young bloods, you don't want to get with a young woman and she doesn't mature. You don't want to get with a young woman that she looked like she was going to mature, but she didn't. And so now you're at home and she can't keep the house together. She got the baby. She's not being a good mom. Baby running all over the house. And you working, and she don't want to work and she don't want to do this, and you just having all these problems because you just didn't give it enough time. You just didn't give it enough time. You have to see before you partner who people are going to become, because you don't know. You just don't know. And if you continue to grow and mature, you are going to be able to attract mature people. You know, your spirit will attract. The universe will bring you people that match your energy. And so you don't want to make a choice so early. And, you know, if you happen to date somebody in high school and you know, things go well, then let it go well, but let it mature naturally. But if it starts to not, you know, and don't try to, you know, go away to school and commit yourself to long distance relationships like you young. You young. You should be living your life. You shouldn't be trying to nurture this attachment because you need to establish yourself as a young woman, as a young man. It's going to be hard to nurture an attachment and the person is not there. Like, just be cautious about getting into long-term relationships. And I know for women, we get caught up in years. We get caught up in time. We get caught up in, well, we've been together since we was da 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 da. Don't get caught up in that. Get caught up in quality. Caught up in the quality of the relationship, not the time. Because years just tick by. They can't tick by. I can say, how long have we been married? I think we 10 months. 10 months. And the quality of the relationship is just so much greater than the long-term relationships that I've had in the past. Like just the quality, just the mere quality. Like his response to when I am frustrated or when I am just anything, like he can look at something and understand what the situation is. And it's like, you know what, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need you to show me to do this or whatever. Like he can mature and grow. And that is what I adored about him. I adored that he was a single father and that he had to figure it out for himself, you know. And I just adored that about him. You know, that quality of just being a good person. Gonna be good to me whether I'm reciprocated. He gonna be nice whether I'm nice or not. You know, and just has gone through enough that knows how to be resilient. You just need resiliency. It is such a key factor. Somebody that's going to grow and mature. You know, don't pick so young because what if he doesn't choose to grow? That's going to be a hard place to be. And you know what's even a worse place to be? Realizing that you could have done better. That if you had just waited, that if you had just given it a little time, if you had just continued to, you know, be together, but not rush into a marriage or get into a marriage without really fully seeing. It's nothing worse than knowing that you could have done better. It's just nothing worse than that. That if you had just waited a little bit of time, you could have chose somebody that just was more in alignment with you in your life. You know, more in alignment with the life that you desire. You know, if you are a go-getter, you need to make sure that you match your energy with a go-getter. Because if not, then you're going to go and get it by yourself. And you might be able to do it in the beginning, but eventually you are going to get tired. Because if that person is not a go-getter, they're probably just a getter, meaning like a taker. They going to get whatever you give, but they're not going to have like enough motivation to go out there and get it. If you are striving for the top, then you should have somebody that's striving it. And be cautious in this young phase, getting caught up with potential. Be very cautious in getting caught up with potential. It's not about who he is potentially going to be. It's about who he is right now, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. Because he's practicing who he's going to become. And if he's just talking about going to school and not going, if he's just talking about getting certificates but not getting them, if he's just talking about, you know, getting what he needs to move to the next level, then he's just talking. And you need to recognize that now. You don't want to attach your life to somebody who's just talking. Because you'll get caught and, you know, in a lot of circumstances, especially with Black women, we're going to out-earn our husbands and our partners because a lot of times they just have more opportunities for Black women than they will for Black men. They're not going to open as many doors to him because they just don't want him to succeed the same. So if you're in a situation, you know, how is he going to respond if you out-earn him? How is he going to take it? Is still going to be teamwork, make the dream work? Or I make the money, I make the rules? It's a lot to consider when you're young. It's a lot to consider when you're partnering young. And do you have the capacity on waiting for him to grow up? Because it's not many men that I know that are very super mature. And he may have a little level of maturity, which is good. And if you can identify that he's a husband, which is good. But if you marry young, you're going to have to kind of go through the bumps and bruises of what it means to be with a young man. That he's not going to know everything. How well does he listen to you? That's key right there. Because you might be able to have more intuition or research or resources. And if he has a problem listening to you, he not your husband. He just not, because it's going to be trouble. So it's a lot to consider when you're young. It's a lot to consider, but the beautiful thing about it is it's all the possibilities in the world. Like, you are at the beginning of your life. You can be what you want. You can make choices. But that's if you don't make too many bad choices that put you in a bad position, or just put you in a compromised position. And I would say the compromised position would be if you have a baby young. That's kind of like a compromised decision, because now you have a baby, you're not married, and your parents are probably likely going to have to help you take care of the baby. The young man may do whatever he can, but if he young too, how much can he provide? How much can he give you? If you're not in the home with the person, it's going to be hard, because who getting up in the middle of the night changing diapers and that whole thing? And I'm not saying that you cannot achieve after that. I'm just saying it's going to be more challenging. But one thing that I can say, and I have seen this before, and this holds a special place in my heart, when I see a young woman have a baby with somebody that may not be her life partner, but she excels and makes choices to better herself and continue to rise in spite of that, that is a special thing to me, because it takes a lot of courage. And I know a young lady who she had a baby with a young man, and I want to say he was an athlete and he had all these things going for him, but he just kind of didn't thrive. And then because he felt broken, he started trying to tear her down. And when I tell you, she picked herself up, dusted herself off, and met her a good man, and went and had babies with this man. He married her, everything, had a good life with him. So that just always encouraged me, because she was not scared. She was not like so caught up in, this is my baby's father and I gotta stay with him. She said, he don't treat me right, deuces, baby. And moved on. And literally her kids are still close together, because it didn't take her long to figure out that the young man that she had the child by didn't want much with her. And she moved on and had beautiful babies with the next guy, got married, bought homes, did everything. I mean, everything. And so if you make that choice and you have a baby young, your life is not over. It's just a different kind of detour. It's just a different kind of detour, but you get on your stuff, graduate school, college, everything, and co-parent as best you can. But don't let that choice clip your wings. Don't let that choice clip your wings. There's still life after having one kid. And just know, if the more you have, the harder it's going to be, but it's still life after it. But it also depends on the kind of support system that you have. And it's just better to wait. It's so much contraception and so many different things out there. If you don't want to be pregnant, you don't have to be. And be cautious about getting into relationships and getting into situations. And so I'm going to just talk about this. This is not on my notes. I wasn't even ready to talk about this, man. But this is what it is if you're a young lady. If you're a young lady and you become intimate with a young man, you are developing a soul tie. And what that means is a part of your soul is now tied to them. The purpose of sex is for marriage. But if you go outside of that purpose, it's going to be consequence, and it's going to be kind of is what it is. And so when you develop a soul tie with somebody, You're going to desire them, want them, and you're not going to see the good, or I'm not going to see the bad. Like, you're not going to see the forest for the trees. You're not going to be able to just say, he's no good for me, because now your soul is tied to him. He can come around and apologize, and you're going to run back to him, and your body is going to crave him. You're going to crave wanting to be with him. And it should be the same for him, depending on his situation. But a lot of men know how to detach. It's not the same experience for them as it is for you. So be cautious. Be very cautious, because you will feel compelled to be with this person. Even if it's not a good situation, even if they're not good for you, you will be compelled to be with them. You will see the good when the bad is blaring in your face, because that's what it's supposed to do. But now you've developed this soul tie, and now you don't know how to get out of it. Now you connected to this person, and you're always going to be connected to them until you pray and ask God to break that, and he can, and he will. But be cautious. Some people may not tell you that when you are intimate with somebody that's going to happen, but that's going to happen. You're going to just, like, you see people, young people, and you don't see one without the other. That's what's happening. They are tied together in their spiritual being, because they did something, a physical act that has a spiritual purpose. So now they are tied to this person, and they are as thick as thieves. You don't see one without the other. She followed behind him. He followed behind her. They think they can conquer the world. They think that they can do everything together. And it's a strong bond. It is a very strong bond. And be cautious, because you don't want to develop that strong bond with somebody who is not good for you. And now, if you're a young woman, if you've had sex, now you're craving sex when you should be doing other things. And so you don't want to get into the habit of giving your body away and away and away to every different young man that shows you a little bit of attention, because that's a situation that you may get yourself into, and that's dangerous, because now you're developing many soul ties. And if you want to have a good connection with the person that you want to call your person or your soulmate, you can't give yourself out so many times ahead of time. What are you going to have left to give? You're just not going to have anything left to give, and you're going to have so many different experiences. It's going to confuse your ability to attach to the right person, because you've just had too many experiences. You're going to have so many different triggers by so many different people and experiences, and it's just going to be a very complicated thing. A very complicated thing. And I would say that if you have been abused in your past, it's going to even be more complicated for you, because somebody has already complicated things for you, because you weren't able to choose your sexuality on your own terms. Somebody took it from you, whether there was manipulation or molestation or whatever it was. If you can't choose your sexuality on your own terms, it's going to be complicated for you, because somebody talked you out of it, molested you out of it, duped you out of it, however the situation is. And if you are in that situation as a young woman, just as a young woman, now I'm not sure what to say to the young men, but I'm sure it all applies. If you are in a situation as a young woman or a young man and you are being abused, help is out there. I believe the number is 1-888-799-SAFE. I'll figure it out. I wasn't even trying to go there with this, but I'm here. This was something I was going to talk about later, but I'm here. If you are being abused, help is available. Do not continue to be abused. If somebody is telling you that it's our secret, you are in a bad place. If somebody's touching you and they're making you uncomfortable, and I taught my children their body parts by name so that nobody could tell them different. If somebody is touching your breast, your vagina, your behind, your anus, meaning your butthole, if anybody's touching or trying to put things into your mouth, anything, tell. Whatever lies the abuser has told you are lies. If they say they're going to hurt your family, if they say that nobody's going to believe you, that you wanted it, whatever they have told you is a lie. And tell. If you are a young woman and somebody is putting their penis in your mouth, first thing you do is bite. Bite down and try to hold it for 3 seconds. The second thing you do is spit. Spit on your shirt so that you have evidence of what has happened to you. And the third thing that you do is run. Get to the hospital because that's where they're going to help you most. They're going to process your clothes. They're going to look at your body if they've done other things, and they're going to call the police. A lot of times the police are in the hospital, in the emergency room, because when gunshots happen or abuse happens, they're going to come right there. If you are being abused, bite, spit, and run. Get yourself to the hospital. Tell. The nurses are going to hold you down. The nurses and the doctors, they are going to get you the help that you need. Don't think about the consequences. Don't think about the person. Don't think about that they're going to be angry at you. Get yourself some help and get free of this. Do not let people blackmail you. Even if they're doing things to you that make you feel good, it's still wrong. It's still wrong. They are manipulating you because they know how to make your body respond. It's about power and control. Do not allow this to continue. Tell somebody. But I would say get to the hospital because that's where you're going to get your most help. There are situations where you might tell your mom and she may not believe you or she may not want to. Tell people at the hospital. They're going to do something about it because they are mandated. They have to. They have to. But do not let anybody abuse you, no matter who it is. Bite. Just bite them and bite them good. Spit on your shirt and run and get to the hospital. Get out of that situation. Tell somebody there is help available. There is help available. You are not in a situation where you have to be there. You do not have to endure this. This is not your lot in life. This is not your lot in life. You do not have to do this. If you need help, look up domestic violence and you can get you some help. Tell somebody because whatever this person is doing to you is wrong and you do not deserve it. And you have done nothing to deserve this. Nothing to deserve it. If you're a young man, you have done nothing to deserve it. If you're a young lady, you have done nothing to deserve this. This is all the abuser's fault. Every single bit of it. Every single bit of it. This is not your fault. You wasn't being fast. You wasn't being whatever. They are the adult. You are the child. And even if they close in age to you and they doing something to you that you don't want to do, tell your parents. And tell and keep on telling till somebody listen. Keep on telling. Get yourself free from whatever is happening to you. Get yourself free from this and you can heal and recover. You can heal and recover. If you get to the hospital, they're going to get you some help, get you some counseling, and get you some help so that you don't carry these burdens with you. Do not carry whatever this secret is. Do not carry it because it's going to tear you down from the inside out. You're going to be hurt. You're not going to be able to connect with your partner because you're going to have so much hurt and abuse. Tell somebody. Tell somebody. You can get you some help. If you are an older woman and this thing is in the past and there's nothing that you can do about it, get you some counseling. Get you some counseling and tell somebody and realize this. It was not your fault. I don't care if you was butt naked in the bed. The moment you say no, no means no. I don't care what the situation is. No means no. You did not deserve it. You did not deserve that. You did not deserve it. If you have been raped, say something. Do not just go home and take a shower. Go to the hospital so that they can get evidence of the crime. And think about it as you're protecting the person behind you. You're protecting the person behind you because the predator is not done. He or she is going to abuse somebody else, and somebody else. Unfortunately, molestation and abuse and even rape is the gift that keeps on giving. They may have been abused themselves. That's not your concern. Get you some help. And think about that if you don't do something, it's going to hurt you, but that there is going to be a victim behind you. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for the next girl, for the next guy, for the next person. Because he or she is not going to stop. They have some sick, perverted thing in their mind, and it's about power and control. It's not even about sex, but that's how they demonstrate it. Tell somebody and recognize that it is not your fault. I don't care what your situation was. I don't care if you was on a date, you thought you wanted to, you changed your mind. You have the right to change your mind at any point in time. It's your mind, it's your body. Nobody has control over it. Nobody can tell you what to do when they want you to do it. That is just not the case. Tell. Bite, spit, and run. I hope that this has helped somebody. I swear to you, I had not planned on going here with this because I just wasn't ready myself. But obviously, somebody somewhere needs it. And if this video only helps one person, I swear to you, God matters and you matter to him. God woke me up out my sleep with this message, and I just been holding on to it because it was a lot to deliver. But you matter to him. You matter to him. You matter to him. Tell somebody, baby. Tell somebody. I hope this message has helped someone. I hope that somebody is encouraged. I hope that if you need this, get you help, baby. Get you help, young blood. Don't let nobody abuse you. Don't let nobody take your sexuality from you. You deserve better. Tell somebody. Until we meet again,